I hear the recording.
Hello, everybody. This is Joy and Shawn coming to you from SOC Talks this week. Hope you guys have had a great week. We're looking forward to sharing kind of interesting stories with you here today. Many of you, everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has a reason they started what they're doing. And that's not what Shawn and I are going to kind of batter back and forth with here a little bit. So Shawn, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
I've been doing okay.
Yep.
It's been a busy day, but we're ready.
Right. Perfect.
Ready. So Shawn, how did you start, buddy?
I have a financial background of probably almost 30 years if you add it all up. And yes, I was 10 when I started. But I was doing mortgages for a little bit, and I was in a B&I group, and I'd probably been in the group a couple years, and this guy named Gabe Paul came and said, send out cards, you get what you send out, and had some samples, passed them around. They got to me, and I looked at them and like, I do thank you cards, and I passed them on. And then hearing him, because we met weekly, hearing him week in and week out about the third or fourth week, I'm like, all right, let's be honest. I don't do them consistently, and you probably can't read my handwriting after the second one. So we did a one-on-one, and this was probably about 14 years ago, because I signed up a week after this December. And he came to my office. Obviously, it was only our website at that time, and walked me through sending a card. And I hit send, and he's like, yep, that'll be printed stuff and at the post office tomorrow. Oh, okay, that's cool. And I remember this, we had different packages back then. I remember this finger, this one you can make money at. And I'm like, oh, I'm always up for that. What do I do? And he said, just share it with people like I shared it with you. So I thought, I have some people in my mortgage company. I have some realtors. I can do that. But really, I was looking at it to use it for my mortgage business. So a customer that, yes, hopefully I can make some money. My goal at the time was, if I can make a couple $100 a month, then the cards, when I sent them out, I got money that I could pay for them and have my marketing paid for. So signed up the week after Christmas, and I did absolutely nothing with it until March rolled around. And March rolled around, like, all right, paid up front and paying each month. So I found this card that, opened top to bottom. It had grass on the front of it. You open it up, on the top it said Happy Spring. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. So I'll do a springtime card. So I wrote, Happy Spring, used the first name and spouse's name. Hope you survive winter. Have a great spring. Have a great summer. If you need me for anything, let me know. Name and phone number. So nothing about mortgages. And on the back at the time, it was the send out card logo. So hit send, and I sent it. My clients, I was at a company that gave me some like orphan clients. I included my friends and family in my kind of sphere of influence, because, you have to tell people what you do all the time.
Right.
Even the ones that know you. And I hit send, and the first card went out to 350 people. And about 5 days later, my phone started ringing, and I got 8 mortgages out of that first card.
Wow.
That was kind of my first aha moment of, maybe there's something to this, following up with your clients on a regular basis. And that's what I did, Joy. I would pick, I wouldn't do Christmas, but I would do, first of the year, I would do Groundhog Day, maybe St. Patrick's Day, 4th of July, something late summer, Thanksgiving, and try to do 5 or 6 times a year I'd send to my clients. And every time I did, I got business. When I tried to get business, like, hey, you're at this rate, and now we've nothing. But when you send out, just kind of stay top of mind, and that's how I used it for the first 3 years of my business.
Yeah.
And then I was driving to a closing one day, and I'm like, man, I'm more excited about the card I'm going to make than the closing. That's really weird, because I still made more money from mortgages. So that's kind of when I want to build this, and I didn't know Cody personally at the time. And, my first kind of thought was I could build this, and Hallmark could come along with a one with a lot of zeros, and this guy could sell out. I mean, I didn't know him. I didn't know his story. So went to Detroit. They'd had events for the first couple of years, and, my blinders were on. I'm like, what the hell are they going to talk about for 8 hours? I know how to send a card. I know everything about the site.
Yeah.
So it was, the first Freedom Ride I went to, and it ended with the couple showing a video, and it was Cody telling a story about how he lost his brother Chris and how he didn't act on his promptings. And, this company was his brother's legacy, never going to, sell it, pass it to my kids. And that was, 12 years ago, and now 2 of them work for him. So I drove back from Detroit going, I'm all in. So that's kind of, I did it at the affiliate distributor, whatever you called it back then, to make some money so I could pay my cards. And then I just kind of flipped, left the B&I group as the mortgage guy and went to another one as kind of the card guy, and, kind of haven't looked back. So,
Cool.
yeah, and I think it's a good testament. And I think you kind of have the same story that you were going to use it as a customer first. So even if you bring people on as a customer, or if they do the affiliate and they don't do anything right off the bat, don't get discouraged, because the ones that really get it will pop up, especially if you keep sending them cards and staying top of mind, like we preach to all our business people that we talk to. So
right.
But how about you?
Hey, I'll in a minute, but I'm something you said, which is I think important for people to know, is you said you signed on right after Christmas. So many people stop doing anything, around the holidays, because and here you are.
Nobody will sign. Yeah, nobody will sign up. It's the holidays.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, I too was a December person, but I was in the early part of December. But now my story is I did start out as a customer. I was in direct sales in another home party plan. And I was in a networking group with Linda Thomas. And one day she contacted me ahead of time. She's, Joy, come early. I got to show you something. And I said, okay. So we went early. We were sitting there. And I remember sitting exactly I could remember where exactly we were. We were sitting and she was showing me this. Now, I will say my blinders were like this. I was I want to say overwhelmed, but I was definitely very busy with my direct sales company. And it's kind of like, I can't even think about trying to learn something new. That was my thought process, and things just kind of went go. Well, and then she walked away from a very lucrative business in her direct sales to start working with Send Out Cars. And she contacted me months later. She said, okay, let me sit down and show you what it is, how you can use this in your business. So we sat down, and she did show me, and I did sign on. It was interesting because at that time, I didn't even want to pay the full $39 or whatever it was, or at that time, and somehow you were able to split that. So I was paying like 16 something a month or whatever with it. And I just came on as a customer, and I literally used it as a typical marketing tool. I used it to send thank yous. I didn't do anything fancy with it, anything more. If I did invitations, for different events I was having, I would use it that way. And I was probably like that for 4 years. And then finally one day, I says, I'm going to do my Christmas cards, because I was really in the mode of, I don't think this is as personal as writing it yourself. I was in that thought process, and I thought, well, it's time for my family. I'm going to do my Christmas cards, because I was the one that wrote the long letters, the kids and all that.
You're one of those?
One of those. Nobody read anyway, So, but anyway, so I did a nice card and had pictures of the kids and a story with each of them, Well, when I went to send the cards, I didn't have enough points accumulated. So I bought more points, no big deal, in that day. So I bought more points, sent the cards off, and the holidays came and they went. Well, they loved the card, by the way, too, my family. But
even the first number.
Yeah. But also in February, I happened to look at my account and I had hundreds of points in there. And it's like, where did I get all these points? How did all these points get in there? I just used them, and my normal 100, I had more than that. So here, what happened in December when I bought more points, the unknowledgeable of what I really paid attention to, I actually resubscribed. So I had 2 subscriptions now coming in.
Okay. We love customers like you.
Yeah. 2 different times a month, 2 different credit cards. So I hadn't caught it yet. I would have caught it, it would have caught up with me, but I hadn't. But it was no big deal because it was also around the Easter season. And so I decided for my 40-day Lenten promise, I was going to send 3 random cards a day. I just was going to do that. And I would put down my database, pick someone out and said, hey, just thinking about you. Happy spring, or, just all kinds of things. And then even when you're in that mindset, as we all know now, even I drive down the road. When I was driving down the road, and Wendy's would post their employee of the month, and I would copy that name down, and I'd come home and I'd send them a card to the restaurant just saying, hey, congratulations, employee of the month. Yeah, I did the same thing with a realtor too. anyways, it was fun. And it was
Hmm.
just like when you get that mindset, as things pop in your mind, it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to send them one. Oh, I'm
Right.
going to, but I was very, very dedicated to doing my 3-a-day. Well, what I wasn't prepared for was the impact of those cards. I was getting phone calls. I was getting emails. Texting wasn't that big 5 years ago as much as it is now. But I was just I had 2 people that called me in tears, literally, because of getting a card on a day that they most needed it. And that's when it hit me. It's like, okay. I really need to look and see what this is all about. And so then there was like not a treat 'em right, but like a Super Saturday. We did a lot of Super
Hmm.
Saturdays in those days in Pittsburgh. And I remember going to that for the first time and sitting there and trying to decide, it's like, hey, okay, this is like really cool. And then Linda was actually speaking, her and Bart were actually speaking in Fort Lauderdale at the next Treat 'em Right in January this is October when I finally kind of went into this a little bit more. And I says, I've got to go down. If I'm going to do this, I need to go down there and see what it's all about. And I actually flew down to Florida, stayed with somebody in a camper because I really didn't have the funds to stay at the hotel they were staying at that time. And I stayed with somebody on a couch in a camper just so I could go to the Treat 'em Right down there. And it was the best thing ever.
And that's how important events are, people.
I'm telling you what, that's exactly how important events are. And I remember sitting there seeing the I am statements and all that Cody was doing. And I wondered, like, what is going on here? I mean,
Right.
I don't know if I understand this because I didn't
Right.
come from that kind of a world. But I remember looking around and saying to myself, look at all these people and the amount of time that they've been with send out cards. This is cool.
Hmm.
I mean, it just kind of resonated like, this is a nice place to be,
Right.
kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And I've never looked back. I know I will go to, they've changed the events over the years from the promptings to Treat 'em Right to promptings and all that. But I would probably go to 4 or 5 a year,
Okay. Yep.
just to be in the swing of what the company was all about. I mean, you
Sure.
have to do that. Events are huge.
They drive business.
Yeah, it just changes. It just changes your mindset. And I had been to many in my other company where it's hoo ha and everyone's excited, and jumping up and down, and you go home and life is different. It's so different with send out cards. It's not like that,
Right.
It's more of a, it's just definitely more of a personal development and in real. It's just real. So. But yeah,
You
so that's why I'm
to,
here.
to dovetail, this is totally off the sub, kind of. So I met with somebody today that she did another network marketing company, doesn't anymore, and she said something about, well, I did some training around a book, and I'm like, with a couple other people, I'm like, did you wrote a book? Yeah. I'm like, well, what was the training on how to do the business? I'm like, your company didn't provide that? And she said, no, if you didn't have a strong upline, you were sunk, because there
Mm,
was no what to do, steps that we have.
right.
And I tell you, we are so lucky. And then she said, some of the top level people, they had trainings, but you had to pay for it. And she
Mm,
said, I'm not talking like a Saturday event that's $30. I'm talking hundreds of dollars to get their input and advice and how I build it and I've heard that with other companies too. And I'm like,
yeah.
we're so lucky that we've got, it's the 3 S's,
Oh
so
yeah. Yeah.
if you just keep it simple. So sorry to
Yeah.
get off on that tangent, but you're right. It's our
No,
training.
no, it is so true. And I came from a couple direct sales companies, so I know, there was competition. You
Right.
didn't want to help a cross line, because that meant, they were taking business away from you in your
Right.
area. I mean, it's sad, but it's true. It's very true. And you just don't see that with send out cards.
It's kind of a scarcity mindset.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, somebody reached out to me this week, last week, and we had a scheduled appointment this week, and she's had an account with somebody else like forever who's not really very active. And, and she says, I've got somebody that's interested, and I think I need to know what's going on before I can refer them,
Right.
and of course now she'll refer them to me because, the
Right.
other person's kind of not out there, and it was just like, it doesn't matter where anybody is, it
Right.
doesn't matter who you're upline it. It's kind of like upline words don't exist. within send out cards. That's what makes it so beautiful.
Right. Absolutely.
But yeah, it's I would have never expected today what I'm doing. But when I did that 40-day challenge, that was really the gratitude challenge. So I really kind of claimed to fame that I started after send
Well,
out.
we'll give you credit.
I
And
had no idea.
and you had your cards were and we've talked about the right intention.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't expecting anything when you did those cards. It was truly just to say, thinking of you, thank you, great job. And that's why you got the responses. And I think that's a good lesson. If people are sending cards and they're saying, I don't hear anything, truly, are you sending them, I'm pointing to my heart, are you sending them for the right reasons? Because
That's
when you
exactly
do, you're going to get the response, which may or may lead to appointments and being able to show people. So, but don't go in with that expectation, I guess.
That's right. You don't go in with that expectation. It was funny. I was somebody today, and she's in direct sales as well. And she signed up with the 37 for the 30 cards. And she wanted to do more with the team. I said, you're on this 37. She wanted to start, she just wanted to start. She knows where she wants, what she wants to do eventually. I said, I'm going to tell you right now, we've sat here, we've talked about how you want to, what it is that you want to reach to and all that. I said, for the next 30 days, I want you to put your business on hold. Or not, put your thought process on your business on hold. And I said, all I want you to do is send a card today to somebody and just say, I appreciate you.
Yep.
That's it.
Nothing else. I think that's a good point because most people, when you say a card a day, they look at you like, what?
Yeah.
And if you say, take 30 days, just thank people. And I kind of go the same. It doesn't have to be for business. It's better if it's not.
Exactly.
Unless you really need to thank somebody within, or that's helped you get where you're at. But you're right. I mean, that's a great approach. Approach.
Just do that. That's not working. We'll work on your business as we move forward, but you just kind of like right now for the next 30 days.
And then after 30 days, you're going to say, see, you got more people than you probably would have if you were asking for the business.
Exactly.
Told you.
That's exactly right. See, this is what happens. So, and as we started this and talked about our stories, for a long time when I first started, I knew how important your story was and how to tell it and that type of thing. But it took a while to get it down to a short, because what I shared with you, I do share that, all the time. What maybe not quite as much detail, but for the time, that you want to keep things in. But everybody has a story, and your story is unique to you. Nobody else, and don't think like my story's, I just signed up. Well, yeah, because there's a reason why you did it. There was something that triggered in your mind. And I will say too, all this time that I was with the send out card, and as a customer, and even in, as a customer, never once did I feel pressure from my upline, from Linda at all. She would send random cards here and there. Facebook was becoming more important in this business than what it was in the early days. And she would take pictures and, my family and me and everything. And that would come in a card just out of random. And so there was never anybody pushing you to do anything. I don't know if everybody's like that, but I know that's what I've experienced within send out cards, especially.
Well, I think it's, if somebody is, wants to do the business, and I don't know if I want to talk to my friends and family. Doing the watch party with Jordan's video is a great way of, kind of easing yourself in. And, the videos, he doesn't try to sell anybody. He's just matter of fact on what's going on. And it's just an easier way for somebody new, or me. I mean, I did the watch party and invited people that I looked down my Facebook and I'm like, I've never talked to them about send out cards. I've sent them cards, and I've got great response. So let's tag them and follow up and say, hey, what you think? Give me your opinion. So it is a great way to using that technology instead of, hey, let's have a house party and invite 10 of your friends over. And, so it's just an easier way. And then they can watch it on their time. So
yeah, exactly. Well, that's like this lady that I met with today that's in direct sales, and she's in the Pampered Chef world. And,
no residual income, right?
Huh?
And there's really not residual income in Pampered Chef.
No, it's just good customers, your residuals, I mean, that continue to buy. And so it was real interesting because over the years with Pampered Chef, 90% of their sales was coming from online. They don't do the home parties anymore. But, and where she came to me and she said, we have to talk. She says, is because I've missed that connection. And she says, I've got to get a connection back. And that's where she's going with the send out cards.
Okay.
She says is to get that personal connection back because it's done online, kind of thing. So I thought that was interesting too.
I don't know about you, but I think that's becoming more, at least with the people that I'm talking to, it's becoming more apparent that they know the email, the text, that's kind of losing some of its, or maybe it probably already has, some of its maybe effectiveness of staying connected. And it's just, it's like networking. If you meet face to face, it's a better interaction than, we're Facebook friends or LinkedIn. And that's more, you'll see that more often, but it's not as deep as of, meeting one-on-one. So I think the cards, I think we're coming to a place where this is just going to explode because it's, everyone's going to understand the importance of kind of the old school with the new technology.
Sure. Yeah, I totally agree. So, and I think we've got the packages and plans in the right place now.
Oh, absolutely.
It just
better than ever.
Yeah. I think so too. So, but anyway, so
right.
Hey,
anything else?
I don't know. I don't have any other stories. I don't have a beginning story. I could tell all kinds of stories.
Absolutely.
But, every day is a story.
And if you don't think you have a good story, share Cody's, about what he didn't act on. And that's, as I said, it's part of why I did, was comfortable with jumping in and really doing it more as a business. Than I had before that when I heard his story. And I do go into a little more detail about, what he didn't act on a prompting to get people to, and I say, look, we get those all day long. We think of somebody or think we should do something and we're busy and it just goes by. But when you really act on them, it will immensely have an impact on not only your business, but your life.
Sure. Yeah, and I know, like Cody always talks about before he gets out of bed in the morning, whoever the first person is that comes to his mind, he sends a card, and that's not necessarily my forte, but I will say that there are many cards I do before I get out of bed in the morning.
I do. My first things go to Facebook and who has pictures.
That's exactly right. Yeah. It's just kind of like, hey, Shawn, have you experienced saving a picture on Facebook of somebody's child, somebody's dog or something like that? And then when you went to go back and send the card, you forgot who that person was?
I try to only save 4 or 5 at a time and do them right then because I can see, I'm like, whose kid was that?
I know.
So,
I have so
let me go
done
clear
that.
and then you can't go back to your feed because it's gone,
I know.
Yeah. No, I try to only save, 3 to 5 at a time and then do the cards right away. So yeah.
I've gotten sometimes where I've, of course you're on your phone. So I've gotten times where I've done a screenshot just so that I can get the top of the name of the person there too.
Oh yeah. That was Susie. Okay. Got it.
Nothing is more frustrating because I'll sit this picture and it's like, who is this person?
Right.
I don't remember.
Or if they're vacationing, I'll pull, when they share all kinds of different pictures, and my goal is to do a 3-panel card.
Okay.
But if you're doing 2 or 3 of those at a time, that's when you're like, okay, I know they went to Spain, so I don't think the beach scene is theirs. And then I pull them up and go, okay, So
yeah. But it's
that's
so
a good.
impactful.
You're sending cards for the right reasons, and so yeah, I think that's a good thing. So yeah, just don't. Yeah, I got your card. What was I don't understand. That's not my child. Oh, sorry. I can't believe Send Out messed up that way.
It's so, like I said, I have so done that before because I'm pretty. I like to really, when a child does something, get a picture.
Oh, sure,
I'll actually send the card to the child instead of to the parents. So that's another thing too. It's kind of like, what's their name? Right. When I'm on my computer, as I save the picture, it's very easy to go type the person and all that kind of stuff. But when you're on your phone, they just don't give you that.
I do it all from the phone, so I don't get too far ahead of myself. Yeah.
Okay.
I try not to.
So, okay. Well, hey, Shawn, it's been a pleasure. And thanks everybody for tuning in here today and pass it on. We love that. We love doing these. We were really enjoying it. For those of you that may have missed last week, we actually had Greg Briers on here. heard a little bit of transparency from Greg. It was really nice to have that casual conversation with him, and it's all fun. So, hey, by the way, as you're listening to this, on put a 2 if it's a replay, by the way, I guess they're all going to be replays, not live.
Can we start doing it live?
Yeah. One of these days,
baby steps.
Yeah. One step at a time. Right. And, but anyways, if there's something that triggered what we said here to you today, share it on there. And if there's something that you'd like us to kind of chat about, want to hear what Joy and Shawn think, put that on there too. We'd love the content, and
absolutely.
We'll be glad to have a good time with it. So
perfect.
Thank you, everybody. Shawn, have a great week too.
All right. Have a great week.
We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.